Cruz Combat is a proud sponsor of the Combat Jiu-Jitsu 2020 Lightweight World Championships. Our custom high-end performance apparel is worn by combat athletes around the world. With performance pieces designed to last a lifetime, our graphics never fade, crack, or peel. Cruz Combat apparel isn't just made for the mat. Our lifestyle line features dozens of unique designs printed on the softest, most durable fabric out there. And we do custom designs, any quantity, big or small. Order your Cruz Combat gear today.
Zach Meslani now making his way to the stage. Meslani in the black and white. Expect fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
It's Zach from 10th Planet Bethlehem.
10th Planet Bethlehem.
Veritable dream team of killers.
Him and JM
Yes, sir.
holding down the fort at 10th Planet Bethlehem.
Great technique. He's
a beast. He's a savage.
excellent coaches, I have to say. Great guys, JM and Zach.
That's a beautiful.
Great guys, JM and Zach.
Veritable dream team of killers.
He's a beast. He's a savage.
Zach from 10th Planet Bethlehem.
10th Planet Bethlehem. That's the 10th Planet Bethlehem. It's a
Great technique. It's
10th Planet Bethlehem.
Yo, what up? It's Big Uncle Zach here, representing 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu in Bethlehem, Finishers MMA, Zach's Corner podcast, and we're back live over here with Big Mike from Everybody's Big, honestly, from Big Mike Fauerbach, Never Again Studios, hooking it up. I'm still really excited and baffled that we have a podcast going out of my own office, which is, to me, kind of surreal. Like, I have a podcast out of my office, which is nuts. I can't believe I'm a dad. I can't believe anything right now, honestly. Sometimes I just, I was giving a speech the other day and, with a heavy heart, we just found out, me and Mike were just talking about it, we just found out our boy Zach Edwards has got diagnosed with brain cancer. And that's so heavy, just to even think about. I was kind of giving like a speech in class the other day, in adult class, and I was just saying, not that this is one way to think, but I'll have a night where like I don't get enough sleep because my son stayed up or whatever, or like something pisses me off and I'm like, man, I wish blah, 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 blah. But then I think like, wow, like there are people out there like, fuck coronavirus. Like Zach has brain cancer, and that really sucks, man. Like, there's not, and the hardest thing is there's not much we can do for him. It's just try to donate money and just keep trying to get him strong. I really got to get over to the hospital to see him, but I've just been back and forth with stuff, and every time I'm about to go, something happens. So I just want to try to, be there and just give him strength and let him know that the whole Finishers fam is there for him. So if anybody wants to donate, you could just, if you just searched, I'll try to remember to put this in the YouTube thing and on the iTunes or whatever, but if you go to, if you just go and search Zach Edwards GoFundMe, like it'll come up, like it'll show up, and then you'll see, where you can donate to. So I know people are selling shirts, and Matt Viper might be selling a hoodie and stuff too. But man, like just if you could donate, or if you want his Venmo, just hit me up. I can just send it directly to his Venmo too. It doesn't matter. So, but just keep him in your thoughts and prayers and stuff, and just all that positive energy. I really believe in. People can beat this kind of shit. He's already been through so much already. I feel so bad for him and his mom. It's just nuts. I mean, the crazy thing is people be like, coronavirus and everything, all, just all these different things that affect people. But really the main shit is like, I know like 3 or 4 people at the school right now that are dealing with cancer. And that's some real shit. That's why it's really cool, doing the Tap Cancer Out with Sid, just raised a whole bunch of money for cancer. A couple of our other guys, if at the school, they're dealing with shit too. My grandfather, he died of cancer like in his 50s. And he ended up getting lung cancer at first. And then, they removed part of his lung. He was like, what was that one joke? I think it was a Dennis Leary joke when he's like, I forget who he was talking about, but he was like, yeah, got lung cancer, and he's like, remove my lungs. He's like, I'll grow gills and breathe like a fish. He's talking about smoking cigarettes, how he never stops. How I forget who it was. Might have been, it was John Wayne. He's like, just he was smoking mad cigarettes and just never stopped. And that happens to so many people. And I don't think my grandfather ended up getting lung cancer from cigarettes, but I think he got it because he worked at a crazy company. Like, have you ever heard of Praxair? Mike, or Lindy or whatever it is?
It sounds familiar.
It's like they're like chemical companies or like gas companies where they like I don't even know what the hell he did, to be honest with you. Dealt with gas and stuff. I don't know. Is that a way to get cancer? I have no idea. He might have smoked cigarettes, but to be honest with you, I'm not even sure.
I worked with people at a plant, and it was around lacquer. Lacquer fumes,
Yeah.
and like I directly worked with people that got cancer and died. And when you applied there and got the job, you had to sign a waiver that if you got cancer, you couldn't sue them.
Just like when you get the vaccine, same shit.
Yeah.
You know, and then so my grandfather eventually got the cancer moved to his brain, and they removed part of his brain. He had like a big S, and if anything, he obviously died young. But my Zach Edwards, if he could just get a few, I don't know how long he could go, but if he could get a few more years out of this, after surgery and chemo and stuff like my grandfather did, and that would be awesome. My grandfather was such an animal beast that he also wore only Dickies and a white tee and a work shirt at all times. He slept in fucking Dickies, I think, honestly. And then, but I remember one time when I was 16, I came over to my grandmother's house, and he was on the roof changing the storm windows. He was on the roof changing the storm windows like weeks after brain surgery. So, he was just an animal. And then eventually he just, one day, like the cancer ended up taking him, which sucks. So, cancer is really affecting a lot of people. So I feel like I want to, it's like one of those things where until it really directly affects you, you start getting into the whole fuck cancer thing and like doing runs and all this different stuff. So I just want to set up some kind of finishers cancer fund here where we can just always donate money to our like cancer fund. Like we can have a nonprofit. And I think that's another way we can skeet taxes, and then we can really decide where the money goes to, as opposed to going to the fucking stupid government to make retarded deals. We can send it to people, cancer research, or just actual people who need medical help, because our, the insurance medical situation here in America also blows. Not as bad as other places, but it still blows hard. The fact that we could spend billions of dollars across seas to figure out what gender people are in Afghanistan, and then leave them all types of fucking weapons and stuff. And then, there's people here living in the streets. They're like, well, what about people in Afghanistan? Now, believe me, I'm for the pullout. Maybe not the way that they did it, obviously, because people are getting killed over there and Joe Biden's a complete mess idiot. But I mean, how long do we have to deal with shit like that? Like there's literally people on the streets here dying, looking for food, need stuff, and still we're just meddling in other countries at all times. So I don't even know what the hell I'm saying about all that shit, but the bottom line is fuck cancer. If anybody can donate to Zach, please let us know. So I really love him, and the other guy's dealing with it too. It's not as bad as his, but it's still bad, It's just something that we have to realize, like. And that's why I think a lot of people that do believe that coronavirus is a lot of people believe it's fake, but a lot of people believe it's way more or way worse than it actually really is. And the thing is, the fact is, some people just believe that, it doesn't trump life. Like you still have to go on with your life, and you still have to do things. You know what I mean? You still have to go and, go out there and live your life, and not, because one day you could. What if you stayed home for a whole year straight, and then by the time you finally go out, you realize you have cancer? You know what I mean? Like, it's like you gotta just live your life to the fullest and thank every little day that you have with people, because you never know. Like, unfortunately, Zach was just starting to murder life. Like, he was out there like fucking slanging, submissions, being like a really exciting, and having fun, competing in the whole nine, and really hot girlfriend, and, moved to Texas, got a new job and everything. Is like, he was murdering life, and then now this happens to him. So, I'm just really thinking about him. So anyways, let's, move on from that. And I don't even know what I wanted to talk about today. Oh, I know one thing, actually. I wanted to bring up something really important, mat etiquette. I wanted to go over some mat etiquette, because I know this is somewhat of a jiu-jitsu podcast, and a lot of people ask me questions like, and I see a lot of stupidness go down on the mat and stuff like that. And, I think some people just, even some of our more experienced guys, they don't get it sometimes. They just kind of, are missing the point on some stuff. So one thing is and this should really be this should really be just common sense, you know, like if you're all sweaty, stay off of everything. Do not lean on things. Like when you're at home and you're all grossed out and dirty from work, you're leaning on the wall. I mean, maybe you trash your house, I don't know. But here you can't lean on the walls. That's like step one. Unless the wall's matted, the walls that have mats on them, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? But don't lean on the regular walls. Does that make sense, Mike? Does that make sense? If you're all sweaty and gross, would you lean, you know?
No, it's disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, just in general, like literally people have leaned on walls and like knocked pictures off the walls and shit here. It makes no sense. It's like some people I wonder, like, how are you going through life? Are you just like Juggernaut, just like, what was that, a bull in a china shop, just knocking down everything as everywhere you go? Like, how do you have a job? Like, what is your job where you are able to, you know?
I don't know. There's plenty of other options. You can take a knee. You can squat down. You do not need to put your disgusting body on a wall.
Yeah, don't
anywhere. That's like general public.
Right. Let's say you're sweating, and I don't know how guys do this, but you're sweating, and you sit on something that's like a couch material, and your ass is wet. Like the couch gets wet. Okay, so like even here, like what I try to tell guys, like you'd be surprised. I've had to tell multiple people over the years that when you're done training and working out, going to the bathroom or go into the changing room and change your clothes, okay? And then go home. You don't go home soaking wet, sweating. That's gross. And then are you sitting on what are you sitting on in the car? Are you sitting on like a towel, or like are you sitting in like a beach, you know, environment or something? I have no idea. I'm like, dude, that is one of the, like, if you drove any car, like your ass, it probably smells, it's sweaty, and that thing probably reeks of ass. Like, what the fuck are you thinking, dude? Like, come on, man. Like, you're gonna sit and then, dude, the next time you go to get in, you're like, oh, are you this guy? We're like, I don't know why the car seat's wet. Because you sat in it when you were sweating. You know, we've had that happen a lot of times, right? To tell guys like, dude, you got to change after class, man. So like common knowledge would be to show up in clothes. Like I have a t-shirt on, I have underwear, and I have a pair of mesh shorts. Okay. I'm going to take all this stuff off. I'm going to put on different underwear, maybe tights if I wear them, regular shorts, and a rash guard. Then I go train, right? When I'm done training, all of that comes off and goes into a bag. Soon, I got to update you on this, Mike. Nogi Laundry, a thing I've been working on for a while, is about to start getting moving soon. So the bags are set up. We got it right. They got the thing on it. So we got these two holders. It's going to be a travel holder. I'll explain all that in a second. But then you put your stuff into a bag. Right now, guys use, I don't even know. You tell me, what do you guys use? A lot of people use, for a long time, I would use a huge 13-gallon trash bag for this amount of sweaty clothes. And I just have trash bags everywhere. JM used to put them in his trunk, and I used to do the same thing. I'd leave him in my trunk, and his trunk would smell like shit. And that's not what you do, right? You want to put it in the bag. If you're going home, you put it in the bag and then you go home. Here, I'm lucky I have a washer and dryer, so I could just do my own clothes. But like for everybody else, like don't leave your shit here. Like put it in a bag, trash bag, you know, a bag that you can just take home, and then you could dump it right into, and everyone has their own idea. You could just go home and put it right in the washer, or you can put it in a place, it's like maybe in your garage, which all your sweaty clothes and stuff, especially if you train like us. You train every day, or you're doing something sweaty every day, you're going to have clothes everywhere. And then it goes into a bag. What I'm working on, and you could go on Instagram and look up Nogi Laundry, is I'm going to be putting out a bag that is for your sweaty clothes, right? And it's not just for clothes. You could use it, like, let's say, Mike, you go hiking a lot, right? I can't wait to go hiking one day again. Take my son hiking. But when you go hiking, you get done, your shoes are all dirty, your feet are all dirty, and then you same thing. Do you want to trash your car? Or do you want to maybe take those shoes off, throw them in a bag, throw them in a back seat, doesn't ruin anything, even if it was raining. Throw your clothes in, change, and then you're good to go home.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it, because what I'll do is I'll bring a change of shoes, or I'll have to bring like an extra shirt, and
yes.
then I'll throw the shit in my book bag. Then I'll forget that it's in my book bag, and then like 10 days later, I'm like, oh, here's this disgusting. I'll fix that.
Exactly.
Disgusting shit.
Yeah.
That is fucking everything up.
Exactly. That's why I'm starting my own company called Nogi Laundry, and I keep pulling the mic off the thing, so Mike's gonna fix it. But I saved it though, so that's pretty smart. But yeah, that think about it. Like, what do you do with your sweaty shit? Like, what do you do with it? Honestly, you got to do something with it. Like, some people just, I have no idea. One time a guy left. One time a guy put one on like one of the racks that holds the bags, so his sweaty clothes were just dripping sweat into the ground. I was like, what is this guy doing, dude? You know? Oh shit! Total malfunction.
I'll just cut this part out.
Yeah, dude, it's okay. I'll just cut this. We'll cut it out in post. Fucking Mike, that was my fault. I kept fucking with it. There we go. All right, I'll give it a second here. I feel like the AC is getting better too, isn't it? Or you can't feel it?
No, it is. It's definitely getting cooler.
Nice. All right, so what I was talking about is before I just decided to destroy the mic situation, that was my fault, guys, my beat. But I was talking about no-gi laundry because what do you do with your sweaty stuff when you leave? Like, you want to throw it all in a pile and you can keep it all together and then you wash it in acid if that's what you want to do. So yeah, there's that. And then I think the main thing is because we have a lot of people who travel here, come to travel. Like, one time we went to California, me and JM, we would train and then we would take our clothes off and then, you know, that sounded really, we would train, then we would take our clothes, we would take our sweaty clothes off, all right, and then we would throw it in his book bag, was designated as a sweaty clothes. So all of mine and his sweat just together, like seeping into a Datsusara bag, and it was freaking gross. Some of them were in trash bags, but you know, we didn't really have anything to put the stuff in. So now I'm gonna have the little holders just like dog poop bags, and you're able to just pull one out, put your stuff in it, throw it in your book bag, and then nothing gets wet. You can tie it at the top if you want. So
I'm definitely going to put one of those in the van.
Yeah, exactly. And then so you can have the travel one, and then you can have, there's another one that almost looks like a little envelope holder, you know, and you put it up against the wall. And then I'm going to keep them here. That's one thing that I'm going to provide for everybody at Finishers MMA. HQ is, you know, I'm going to have the bags for everybody. You know, we're going to, and I think if you're a dojo out there, if you're like Legends MMA, you know, Mike Davila and Adam up there, or if you're like Padilla BJJ or Zombie Jiu-Jitsu or whatever, like you might want to give, you know, those, you know, back. That might be something you as a dojo want to give out to the people. You know what I mean? Like a give back, which it might cost you, I don't know. Let's say it's $14.99 a month. I'll give you one. Every month you get like you know, however many bags, and it'll probably last you for a while. And then everyone can do that. And then what that does is it cleans the place up. So I'm not picking up dirty rash guards all the time. You know what I mean? Like if I do, I don't have to touch it. I can just go over, put it in the bag, throw it in the corner, or throw it in the trash and say, hey, you got a day to pick up your shit. You know, or people could just use it and then take it home. You know what I mean? So I'll have that for certain guy, or not certain, but just for everybody to use. You know, and I think that's a cool give back to your students, is to keep the place clean, and you have that up there to give it. And then, and this is a great business tip, is if you could get people on an automatic payment, that's probably the number one business tip I can give someone. You have to come up with an idea where it's not a one-time purchase and then you never buy it again. You know, obviously t-shirts and rash guards and all that stuff work, but I think one of the best business models is to have a recurring payment that's not that much. And you know why? Think about it. Gyms. And not like Finishers, a lot of people train. Majority of the people who pay the amount of money to come here, that it is, they come and they use the facility and they train in the classes because it's a class and people feel like they got to come to class. Some people, they never use the gym because they're paying so low. So it's like $19.99 a month. Have you done that in your life? I guarantee almost everyone has. Just use the gym. You pay $19 a month or $10 a month and you never go to the gym. I've done that so many times. I did use it to shower for a while. I never used the actual gym. Remember, that was a tip for you. Remember, I told you're like, how am I going to shower? Like, you got to shower in where you can. I'm like,
yeah, it was
gym.
when I moved into the new studio, or the studio that it's at now. I remember calling you and being like, or maybe it was when I was in Bethlehem. One of the studios was set up terribly, like to not be there all the time. And I was like, yo, what do you do? And you're like, I'll teach you how to live like a pirate.
That's right. Yeah.
You said, and it was the best advice I ever got. You were like, go get a Planet Fitness membership. And like, I've been following a lot of RV and camper stuff because I want to, you know, go on like a 3-day hike out to Colorado or something.
Sick.
And they have, that was like a tip with that too, is, you know, because those Planet Fitnesses are everywhere. So you can literally travel, you know, take an RV or, you know, even if like you go somewhere to train jujitsu or whatever.
Exactly.
And you want to stay at the school, Planet Fitness.
Exactly. Yeah. And what we've done a bunch is where we've needed to like cut weight, or we needed to, you know, and where are we going to cut weight? Sometimes two main weight cutting ways for us anyways was the sauna, obviously. So the gym usually has a sauna, which is nice. And then it also has a pool. So when we were doing heavy cardio, me and JM we'd have to like find an LA Fitness that had a pool so we can go there and swim. And then we do laps and stuff. JM could actually swim, dude. I suck at swimming, but that made it even harder. So that's like one of the best cardio workouts you can get, except for one time I got syphilis from the local gym. So I'll never go back. Just kidding. Not syphilis. I don't know what I think I got a staph infection. Because the gym that I was going to was super gross. But I mean, whatever. I mean, staph infection, smash infection, whatever. You're gonna go to a weirdo gym. You know what? That's the only time I ever got it, and now I think I'm immune. But that happens like so we roll up to like LA and be like, oh, where do we go? And bang, you just hit up a thing and you could pay a drop. You don't even have to have a membership. You could just pay a drop-in fee. Just show up at $20 and then you can use the gym for the day. So, but yeah, I did that for a while. I used to, at the first dojo we ever had, I used to I would shower, or no, wait. We would get done working out and I trained every night from 8 to 10 was advanced class. I would leave advanced class. I would take JM's car because I didn't have a car or a place to stay. I would drive to LA Fitness. I would shower at LA Fitness at like 10:30 at night because it closed at 11. Then I'd shoot back. By the time I got back, the guys were done cleaning the mat at the dojo. And then I'd come back and then I'd sleep at the dojo. And then JM would go home or whatever. And then when he lived there, it was the same thing. We were just, you know, got a shower at LA Fitness. What are you guys doing at LA Fitness so much? Showering. And then, you know, I lift weights or whatever, but like we only used it for that. So, I don't know. Why did I get on that tangent? I'm talking about mat etiquette.
Business tips.
Oh yeah. That's a great one right there, because the gym, you know, a lot of people pay for that shit and never go, like, you know, and then they make it difficult for you too, to quit. You have to like go down there and like fill out a paperwork and like show them your mother's maiden name and all types of shit just to quit the gym. But if you pay, you know,
what was that, Gold's Gym?
Yeah.
Gold's Gym was the worst,
Yeah.
man. I had to fight them for a while when I moved from Virginia. And they were like, hey, there's other Gold gyms. And I was like, yo, it's an hour and a half from my house. I didn't go when it was 10 feet from my house.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking driving 2 hours to go to Gold's. But because a lot of those gyms, what they do is the money is through a third party.
Right.
So they're like, yo, you got to talk to fucking so-and-so out of Georgia.
Steel Fitness did that to me, and I just showed up down there, and they were like, yo, you got to write a letter. And I go, dude.
Yeah. They always give you that kind of shit.
I go, I'm here right now standing in front of you. That's the letter. Okay. The letter of intent is me telling you cancel my fucking thing right now. And they're like, oh, okay, sorry, we'll do it. If you push them enough, they'll do it.
Yeah. They definitely fold, but they're told to they're the first line of defense.
Like we got to put up a fight. A lot of times people will just give up. That's why they send you random hospital bills, because a lot of times old people will just pay them. Me, I'm like, hold on a second. Do I really owe $2,000 for this? You know, you got to look into shit, people. Look into it. Some more mat etiquette is you can't bleed on the mat. Now, another thing, self-explanatory, right? So it's not our fault that you have cuts and your open wounds are on the mat. That's not my fault. You have to take a break. You don't get to bleed on everybody else, okay? So if you're like, you know, did you see JM had posted a bunch of stuff about Band-Aids?
Yeah, that was hilarious. I was dying.
I don't even know what he was.
He goes, I'm not the fucking Band-Aid.
What exactly happened? Someone came into his office, I think, and asked him for a Band-Aid.
Yeah, I think that's what he said on the post.
Right. First of all, number one, disrespectful. Do not come into my office while I'm sitting here. I got to put a sign up that says absolutely, positively, do not knock on this door and do not come in. Like, I'm here for 5 seconds. And listen, it's a good thing. I know people want to talk to us, but the whole JM Band-Aid thing, that is ridiculous. First of all, do not walk into the office and be like, yo, get me a Band-Aid. I don't know if that's how it went down, but I would have been furious too.
That's how it sounded. It sounded like he was just kind of in his office and somebody came in and asked for a Band-Aid.
Dude, and then they want to go back and go try. Listen, first of all, a Band-Aid, I don't know if guys know how Band-Aids work. Band-Aids do not stay. Maybe they'll stay on your finger for a while, like if you wrap it around and you get like a really good one. But for the most part, the second you start to sweat, like let's say I have a cut on my arm here and I put a Band-Aid on, that's going to stay on for like a millisecond when we start doing jiu-jitsu. The second anything rubs it, it's over. So here, let me give you some tips.
I was never a Band-Aid guy.
I never wear Band-Aids.
I never worked a job that a Band-Aid stayed on.
Yeah, no.
It was never like an office gig.
No. Sometimes, though, like when I was cutting steel rod at this random job that I was supposed to be working in the office in, but for some reason I'm out there cutting fucking rod and in a construction setting, you know? But what happened is I would cut my hands and fingers all the time on shit, nuts, bolts, or whatever. And it
was like metal cuts.
Yeah, it would get in there. So you have to put a Band-Aid on it. But again, once you, and it like newsflash, they don't turn the air conditioning on in the shop. So you're dripping sweat. So everything falls off. So what you'd have to do is put a Band-Aid on. First of all, you clean it. Okay. It's gross. If you're bleeding, why are you bleeding? You're done. Look, guys, if you're training and you start to bleed profusely, that's the end of training for the day. You don't keep going, okay? Like, you know, you ever see guys where they like tape up their head and everything? I'm still going. That's like a tournament. It's training. We're just having a regular training session. We don't need you bleeding all over the place. Now, if you get a bloody nose or something, you want to jam paper towel, because Grace bleeds all the time. You want to jam some paper towels or whatever up your nose and keep rolling. That's fine, because it happens. Nose is going to bleed. But if you have an open wound, let's say you got, I don't even know why people why do dudes have cuts like that? Maybe from like doing some type of yard work or like you're hiking. Let's say you get like a cut on your leg, big gash, right? Well, you can't put a Band-Aid on and expect you're going to train jiu-jitsu. It's going to bleed in 2 seconds. It's fucking gross, dude. So what you do is don't train, number one. Take a couple days off till it heals, or you put a Band-Aid on and then you take that white tape that everybody always uses and you wrap it around over the Band-Aid on your cut. Then it will probably stay on. Then you put a rash guard on top of it. No one sees, no one knows, it's fine, and you're not going to bleed everywhere. So that's a good one for you there. Like, when guys are coming in, yo, can I get a Band-Aid for what? You're still sweating. Like, if you're dripping sweat, do you think a Band-Aid's going to stick onto your arm? Come on, guys. It's common sense, all right? You should have been like, yo, can I get a Band-Aid? Best I can do is tell you to go fuck yourself. If I could bring it back to Pawn Stars. What else is going on? What did I want to talk about? Oh, that's another good one too. And I have a lot of conversations with a lot of my guys on this one. Some guys got to understand their size and strength. Some dudes are small. Some guys are big. If you look around and you're big and you're rolling with someone who's small, that's a problem. You have to, and it's fine because I do it all the time. For instance, I roll with women. Some women are 115, 110 pounds. I'm 150. Okay. So when I roll with them, I don't really use all my strength when I'm rolling. And it has nothing to do with women, but they're just smaller. Like Grace, for instance. When I roll with Sid, now he's bigger. But when he was like a kid, I can't use all my strength. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you just want to be an asshole, then you're going to kick the shit out of every single person you roll with, right? But for me, when I roll with smaller people, one of the ways that Grace and Sid and all these young kids that we have that are really good is because when I roll with them, I don't hurt them and I don't bully any techniques. I have to beat them technically sound. And there are some things I'll probably lay off of. Like I'm not going to just, for instance, and this happens in kids class all the time. Someone mounts the kid and then they just lay and mount the whole time. They just sit on him the whole time. Like that's not even fun. All right. When you roll with someone who's smaller and has good technique, then it's cool to just play technique with them, and I don't have to go brute strength. Like if a guy's 125 pounds and I'm 150 and I'm a black belt and he's a black belt, yeah, he can keep up with me. But if I really start putting the beats on him and using my strength, there's nothing he's going to be able to do most of the time, unless the guy's levels above me technique wise, like Thor, when I roll with him. Our technique, we both have really good technique, but he's so big and so strong, there's no way I'm going to be able to do anything to him. Can I counter a move sometimes that he does? Sure. But when push comes to shove, I ain't doing shit to him. So him, when he rolls with me, I mean, we're going at it, cool. But like most of the time, if he just beats me to shreds, no one's getting any better there. You know, he might just do some moves to me that he helps me. But if you're just going with a smaller person, you have to bully techniques and you just whoop their ass all the time, no one's getting better. You're not getting the person better. And in that case, they're just getting worse because you're just beating them up, you know? So keep that in mind. When I roll with people, I roll with everyone different. There are some guys like Will, guys that are my weight, when I roll with them, Jamie, like I'm going pretty much, 100%. Like I'm not going easy. Like we're going at it and I'm trying to choke and finish him, same with even Sid. Like I'm not going 100%, but we're rolling. I got to watch out. He'll tap you, but there are other guys that I roll with that are either way lighter than me or just a blue belt or something like that. And I kind of like let them come at me. I kind of let them dictate the pace. Now, if they try to kick your ass, that doesn't mean you just let someone beat your ass, but hey, you got to let them know, like, I'm not going to, but you beat them technically. You don't have to just mutilate everybody. Now, brown belt comes from another school, my weight, we're going 100%, and it's going to look like Tasmanian Devil's going at, but still, I never hurt anybody. I never put a person in a position where they get injured. Usually it's just a good hard roll because we both know how to go like that. Sometimes you roll with someone and they're going really hard and you're not, and they don't even know that they're going really hard. You have to say maybe like a day later or something like, hey man, listen, when you're out there rolling, dude, take it easy. You don't have to go 1,000%. And that's one of the reasons why we don't let beginners, or we shouldn't let beginners into advanced class, right? Even if they wrestle in college or something like that, maybe, but they don't know how to move. They don't know any of the moves, and they're going to get themselves hurt, or they're going to get someone else hurt. Like we get new guys coming in all the time, just show up for my class. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you in this class? Like we made Wednesday nights blue belt and up. We had to do that because too many beginner guys come, and I'm glad it's good. It's good that people are coming, that they're excited to train, but you can take one of the other 90 classes. All right. At least you got to get the blue belt. Or if you're a white belt and, you got a lot of experience and you train for a while in like some type of grappling art, then that's okay. Like we'll throw wrestlers into advanced class and stuff like that. And then I got Tom and Renee and all the guys that are experienced instructors here that have been here for a long time. I trust them to tell a guy like, hey, bro, you've been training for like 6-8 months now. You're probably getting close to, your blue, around blue belt, maybe year and a half. Why don't you start coming to advance? And then there are guys that are crazy that we just kind of throw in there, but not everybody. Not everybody gets to do. There's got to be some rules and there's got to be some regulations. Like you can't go to any class and just walk in and start dictating what happens and what, dude, you just don't know the stuff, man. And especially in my Wednesday class, it's like I'm speaking Swahili to you. You're not going to know anything of what I'm talking about. I'm going to be talking about I'm going to be like, hey, you might want to, here you could go to the DMs and you could pass from the near side DMs and get to twister side control. And then from twister side, if you want to get the mount, you could take mount, go all the way to like, and guys are like, and it's like, dude, you're not ready for this, man. This is like, you don't go to college and just try to take advanced calculus right away. Is that something that you would do? Just jump right in and go to AP honors, whatever the fuck class it is? No, you don't. You got to go to the beginner. You got to go to the first class and learn how to add and subtract and get your butt wiped. And then eventually you get pretty good. Most of the guys who do that, I see train for a long period of time. Guys who just jump into advanced class, not everybody, but a lot of guys who just show up with no experience, jump into advanced class, end up burning out, or they end up getting hurt, or they end up just quitting for no reason. Guys who take it slow and work their way up, eventually, more often than not, get to their either blue or purple belt. Purple belt stuff, man. We don't give out purple belts for nothing. And it's not just about competition either. It's about, consistency, and it's about knowing how to be a good training partner. You know what I mean? That's really important to me. Like it is about sure, I'm cocky and I want to win competitions. I am an ego for myself and my team and I want to win. But what it boils down to is nuts and bolts is whether you have an awesome training facility and whether people want to come and sign up. Like you could be the best team ever of like 10 dudes, but you make zero money and you can't do nothing with it. So it's like always, for gym owners, it's always a mix like of getting the competitors ready and getting all the people to go train and compete. Or it's also like developing the community where people can come and feel safe and train, and not everybody has to compete. But what happens is when you put out the when you put out the vibe that like competitions are good for you and they help you and stuff, then all of a sudden people want to compete, which is really cool. So, you know, those are some mat etiquette business tips for you guys, because man, I see a lot of weird stuff sometimes. I sit back and I watch, and I'm like, when I do get to watch, and I'm like, damn, why is that? You know, I got to talk to this guy about that, or oh man, like, you know, that's something that shouldn't be going down. And then it's fine, because then we just adjust and we add rules. Before, there was only one class. Like when JP and Billy and some of the guys who started with us that are like purple brown belts now, been training with us for a long time, they started, there was only one class, 6 to 8. It was just everybody, or it was like 7 to 9 or something like that. It was just beginners, advanced guys, didn't matter. Everybody's thrown into one class and you just figure it out. And some people like to learn like that, but most people, especially now because of how many people we have, like, you know, you got to come to like a beginner class and kind of learn the ropes. And it's no disrespect or anything like that. And I'm sure you'll be fine. It's the same thing with kickboxing. You can't just show up to sparring. Oh, here's another good one. You can't just show up to sparring with no gear. That'd be like showing up to baseball, no glove, no cleats, no hat. And they'd be like, hey, coach, can I borrow a glove and hat and everything? Be like, no, buy your own. And then when guys are like, oh, well, I didn't have a helmet, go online. Here's what I did when I was a kid. I saw what the coolest gear looked like, and I thought the gear that they were selling at the dojo sucked, even though ours is good here from Combat Corner and Rival. So I went online, I searched, and I bought my own gear. You can do that. You don't have to wait for us to spoon feed you some shin pads. Go and buy shin pads. Go and buy a helmet and stuff if you want different ones. If not, we have it at the dojo, so no excuse. I'll hear from guys like, oh, the dudes were sparring and the one guy was sparring with no mouthpiece, no helmet, just gloves and no shin pads, and you're throwing kicks. I'm like, what? Get that guy out of here. I know he's excited, but you're not ready to spar yet. You might get knocked out, which you guys almost did. Guys almost did get KO'd, so it's crazy. Is there any other, what other jobs do you think, or what other kind of things you think are like that, where people just show up and they think they're going to go right to the advanced level? You know, that'd be like going into like weight training and be like, all right, I'm going to bench 350 right now. Be like, you can't bench 100. So why do you think on earth that you'd be able to bench 350? I don't know. People just see fighting as like and jiu-jitsu as like a thing that they think they could just get into. They see it and dudes are like, I could do that. And it's like, you could, but you're not going to do it good for a long time if you don't learn the ins and outs of it. And for me, it's just more fun, you know? Mother mercy. You know what I mean? If I wasn't Jamaican, then why would I be wearing this hat? Yo, check out my chain. This is, actually, what is this? Oh, yeah, it's the Lion King. Right, that's me right there. No, I don't know. I got this I go on Amazon. I just buy dumb shit late at night when I'm just searching around. I bought this, and I've been buying some more action figures too. Now that I have a son, I'm like, all right, I got to get some action figures. They're mostly for me, but I think I'm going to let him play with it, because I have some of them in the behind me in the cardboard, but like I'm not going to keep them in that. It's no fun. You can't play with them. You know, so people are like, you got to keep that in a package. Like when I remember when I was a kid, there were dads that kept shit in the package, and they wouldn't let the kids play with them. I'm like, what's the point? You know, it might be worth money one day. Who's going to buy it? You know, best I can do is $20. Dude, you don't understand. This is worth $500 and it's highly collectible, but I got to make money on it. So I'll give you $1 for it. That's basically what those guys would do. A lot of people, I got a lot of good feedback on the Pawn Stars, talking about Pawn Stars. A lot of people are like, oh, I love that show. And now I posted up that Sons of Anarchy thing, and a lot of people hit me up about that too. They're like, I love that show. I thought they were going to be like, dude, I'm into figurines. But really, they were just like, dude, I fucking love Sam Crow, dude. Yeah. I mean, dude, me and my cousin used to watch that all the time.
Oh, I watched it. I liked the first couple seasons. Once like they kidnapped his son to Ireland, like I was
that got crazy. That got crazy.
Yeah. At the end, I just wrote it out because I was glad they were ending it. Like The Walking Dead went and then they're bringing it back now. Like I don't got time for that.
Are all the guys dead in Walking Dead? I don't know.
No,
my wife we watched it for a while.
Walking Dead, like same thing with Sons of Anarchy. I was into it, and then it's a cash cow, and then they got to keep it fucking going. But then I couldn't do I couldn't do The Walking Dead anymore. But the Sons of Anarchy, I did ride out.
I finished it.
Yeah,
I had to finish it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The beginning ones were so great. Me and my cousin cousin would die laughing at him because Clay.
Yeah.
I love Clay. When he was like in charge was the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the other guy too that looks like Conor McGregor. He actually trains, what's that dude's name? Charlie Huneman or something. He trains actually with John Jock. He trains out of John Jock, which is dope. I don't think all the time, but you know, a lot of those guys will go to John Jock. Or
he's in all the Guy Ritchie movies now.
That guy's a beast. He looks like Conor McGregor. I think he's like a blue belt or purple belt in jiu-jitsu, which is pretty dope. I'd choke him out. But unless he had that big knife he used to carry with him on the side of that was dope. Yeah, like didn't the mom, Peggy Bundy, stabbed his wife in the head or something like that, dude?
Yeah.
You know what?
Peggy Bundy was perfect for that too.
Yeah, she was great, dude.
She was already like known as like, I mean, especially if you're older, but like the Bundys, like she was white trash, and then they just moved her over to a biker.
Perfect.
And she's actually hot when she's like, you know.
Yeah, I think, dude, I think she's great. She was always.
I mean, I'm into white trash, so that was my thing. But
I liked her.
She's gorge.
Man. Yeah, I think she did a great job, and you wanted to be. You know what? You know what's funny about that show is if people just didn't lie, everybody would still be alive, because they would hold things that they're like, well, I don't want to tell Jax this or whatever. I don't want to tell the mom this. Like, no, tell them.
I would maybe rewatch that. Because now that we're talking about the early episodes, like with the cop and, you know, they're like, it was like super low key. Then it builds.
It gets too crazy. Yeah. But when it was low key is when it was good. That's why Walking Dead was cool, because they were just fighting they
were trying to survive.
Yeah. At first it was good. Then it just like they were living in a jail, and then that was so stupid. Then it wasn't, it turns into every zombie thing like that. It's not about the zombies anymore. It's about the people are assholes to each other. Yeah. You know, it was cooler when they're just escaping.
Then they would like
zombies.
run into camps and.
So stupid. Then my wife got pissed when the one guy, the Asian dude, got hit in the head with the bat. Yeah. She was like, I'm done. This is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I believe, and that's when I was out too, is when it was just it was such a whole nother, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be a whole nother thing with the guy with Lucille. And I couldn't do it. I think that was like season 8.
Yeah, I don't even know if I might have just skipped ahead and I saw that and she was like, dude, I'm done. But, Sons of Anarchy, I would go back, like, because Clay, he had so many good lines, that I always remember. He'd be like, he'd come in, he put his leg up on the like a chair or whatever, and he leans over on the desk and at the cigar shop or whatever. He's like, okay, we can either help you or we can hurt you.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, help. He's like,
the early ones were cool because they were like introducing the gang, and it was like when you first see the table they had in their room, and I was like, this show's dope.
Yeah, and they're beating each other up outside, they're riding motorcycles all over the place. Yep. That was cool.
Once they started doing like product placement, and they like had to play music because people were paying them to play a song in like the montage, like it was just
it got too crazy. You know, it got too crazy. But it was cool when they were like the cop was like, you know,
probably like the first 3 seasons I really enjoyed.
So what about Sopranos?
Sopranos, I liked everything all the way through. There wasn't really a season, and same with what's the other one? Breaking Bad. Yeah, those two were like, you know what? There wasn't really a bad season.
Breaking Bad, I got to go back, and the middle ones I missed. You know, but in the same thing, man, some of these shows in the beginning, they're such killer. There have been some good, I like crime shows. There have been some good crime shows where they do about 3 seasons and then cut it off. Yeah. Those are good. You know, because it just goes to, they're just, you know, because maybe they wrote it for like 2 or 3 seasons were good. Then after that, they're like, now
The Wire's really good.
The mom kills the son. You know,
gotta watch The Wire.
Yeah, I watched that a long time ago.
Oh man, that's real good. I just started watching Billions because that's on Amazon Prime, because they're ramping up to do season 5, but that's all like stockbroker, like you know, like behind the scenes stuff. That's really good.
Yeah, my wife is watching Handmaid's Tale right now. You ever hear that?
Nope.
It's like
I did hear it. I did hear it.
It's actually pretty interesting because it's like people in America got taken over by like this one kind of Canada group or whatever. They were kind of from Canada, and they just in America, all the people, like most of the world, I guess, women couldn't have kids. So then they steal the women that could have kids, and they put them in like almost like a slavery type camp thing. People got to wear masks. There's rations. It was like, interesting. Very interesting. So that's interesting. I mean, we don't get to watch that much TV anyways, because most of the time it's like, you know, my son's up, and, you know, I know a lot of people probably, you know, like put their kids in front of a TV, but like I'm really trying, and my wife too, same, is we're really trying not to have the kid just in front of the TV, mesmerized with his eyes with all that light. I just don't think, I mean, again, you could do whatever you want. I'm sure it's fine. I grew up on the TV and I'm, okay, I guess. But not that I grew up on the TV, but people didn't know. And TVs weren't like they are today. Like now they're putting out so much blue light. So I noticed when at first when he was born, I would sit down there and hold him and watch UFC, the light from his eye would get to his eyes. And I think that messes with my eyes and gives me headaches sometimes. So I'm trying to just keep him away from TV and phones and stuff till he gets a little bit older, when he needs to have a phone, or, when he's like 19 or whatever. I'm joking, but same thing with computer. I mean, he's going to learn all this stuff when he's a kid, but I see so many people that, and I'm sure it's very difficult to do once they see it, but I see so many kids, their parents just like, okay, fine. And they give them a phone, and then they're just on the phone, or just playing with it, or they get mad when they don't have it. But what I like is the parents here at the dojo, which is cool, is they got these iPads for their kids, or, whatever they call Kindles or whatever. And then some of the girls that train here are really good with drawing on their thing. So it's like a great tool for learning, because dude, whether you like it or not, you're going to have to learn computers nowadays. You got to learn phones, computers, all that stuff, especially if you want to be in any type of anything almost, unless you're just going to do construction. You don't even need a computer, but other than that, you're probably going to need a computer to do stuff and then learn that. So it's good to teach the kids learning stuff and all that, but you just can't go crazy with it. So, what else? Oh yeah. So, shout out to Armbar Club, Grace. They're going to be, sponsoring Grace for upcoming Who's Number One, which is really cool. So shout out to Ted Park, Armbar Club. Check them out, armbarclub.com. They also, sponsor this podcast. Rubber Guard Assassins. Shout out to him. He's over in, he's over in another country, and, man, dude, Germany, all these different places, dude, with their lot. Like, how crazy is Australia? They had like one case, they beat you over the head. People are really fighting back over there. I checked in Alex Jones the other day, and dude, like, he was putting up, like, showing videos of Australia, and people are on there talking to him because the American media doesn't really talk about it. They're not talking about how people are.
North Korea at this point. It's dude, it's completely locked down. Like,
and if people are out there protesting, and the government is basically beating people up, and whooping people's ass and stuff. That's the definition of tyranny. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, people are begging, like, we need help. Like the 10 Planet, follow 10 Planet Melbourne on Australia on Instagram, and you can see a lot of the guys there just posting up. But Alex Jones brought up a good point. Like, you go to the cities and stuff, you see people all scared. But do you think the news? And this is the last thing I'll say, because I know we gotta get moving here. But do you think that the media obviously overblows stuff, but it's actually, they're just acting like, okay, in the cities, maybe some cities, there's shit going down, like Chicago, obviously people are shooting each other every other day, Chirac, but everywhere else it seems fine. Like, I go to places and shut down, but I don't see bodies in the streets. I don't see, like, around here. Like, they're like, if you look at the news, coronavirus is real bad. All this different stuff is bad. They're fighting in schools about masks and everything. But are you seeing do you see anything crazy going on?
Not by us.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm glad I'm not in Philly.
Yeah, Philly is nuts. But is Philly always nuts, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Philly's always been,
because like, even when they were saying all those riots were going down on the news, it looks like the whole city of Philly's burned down. But I went to Philly for 5 weeks in a row. Yeah, Kensington, it's always burning down. Kensington is always fucked up. So
you can go down there with a camera crew and get that footage all year long.
Yeah, and just keep playing B-roll. You know what I mean? Be like, this happened 3 years ago, but it looks the same.
Who the hell was that? I was somewhere. Oh, it was when I went to Parmapalooza. There was like different people there out of state that were helping Angelo, and the like people there that were cooking, and a couple people asked, "Are like, well, what's it like by you?" And I'm like, we're not really affected by any of this shit. But there are places that you have to be wearing masks again, and stupid shit like that.
Yeah, out here we ain't really doing that. Finishers has
suggested. It's suggested.
Finishers has a strict no mask policy. So if you wear a mask in here, we're gonna ask you to take it off. Shout out to Sabrachi Jewelry. And did I miss any of the other sponsors?
Rubber Guard, Ted Park.
I think that's it. Oh yeah, check out. I don't know if Rubber Guard Assassins put it up yet, but I'm sure they will. But did you see the fight in the streets where the guy hit omoplata?
Yeah, I did see that.
rubber guard won't work in the streets. Actually, that is a street that they're fighting on, and he literally rips off an omoplata on the guy and starts punching him. But see, that's the other thing. Me and Renee were talking about it. That's not jiu-jitsu. Like, yeah, you're whooping the dude's ass in the street, whatever, but jiu-jitsu is supposed to be something that you use to, de-escalate the situation, not put him in a, that's an MMA fight right there. And who knows, but I don't know the context of what happened. Maybe that guy did something and he needed that ass beating. But yeah, that jiu-jitsu is supposed to like shut that down. So that's crazy.
You could actually see in the guy's face when the whole thing started turning around, like he knew he was fucked.
He was like, oh no, I'm in some shit I've never seen before. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who that kid is.
He couldn't stop it. And it was just, it happened. And then I was like, you.
And I don't even know who that kid is. Like that kid could have just been a random person, just beat the shit out of that guy. That's nuts. So yeah, check that out. I'm sure they'll put it up on Rubber Guard Assassins.
I think it was on his story or something.
Yeah.
It's a good follow.
Yeah, what else? So that's pretty much all I got, man. Like, we're going to keep doing this podcast. I got, the next thing we got going down is Who's Number One. That's not for a while. So Grace and Thor just preparing like beasts. Like I said, you could donate to Zach Edwards Fund. Yeah, man, I'm just going to keep, just the last thing is just be thankful, man. Be thankful for what you got. Like so many people over here bitching, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm trying not to put up so much bitchy shit on Instagram, and like, oh man, check this out or check that out, or just really harping on mistakes of people. And it's like, you know what? It's not even worth it, man. Just try to be thankful for what you got, because honestly, if you're living in America and you're able to train jiu-jitsu and martial arts, which is probably the predominant amount of people who do this, I mean, man, whatever. And if you're living in your car right now, or you're living at your parents, or like, you're down and out, sometimes you have to take a couple steps back to move forward in what you want to do. You really do. I mean, people are like, oh, things happen for a reason, whatever. And I don't really.
If I wouldn't have moved back in with my parents, I wouldn't have anything I have right now.
Same with me.
It's a sacrifice. I was only there for a couple months.
Breaking up with the girl that I was with and losing my house and my car and everything I have at the time was the worst thing that ever happened to me. But it's just so cliche, but it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me, because now I have a son. I met my wife, who I love. I have this dojo that, like, I know that there are a lot of guys out there that are high level dudes, like way better than me at jiu-jitsu, and they would kill to have this place. So just I know I do a lot of bitching and talking shit, but especially that last one who someone flagged and won't let me put on my YouTube anymore for community guideline strikes.
You can find it online.
Which was probably Wagner Rocha. So go to Never Again Studios, or it might have been Johnny Grippos, keeps reporting me staying up late. Yeah. Like, I fucking hate this guy. So shout out to whoever did that. But this one, whatever, man, I'm just going to keep putting it out. So just like I said, be thankful for what you got, because honestly, at any time it could be taken away from you. And then you'll be like, oh man, I wish I could go back to those times when you thought, that's like, I'm sure that's a meme or a thing. That's like, when we were in the heydays, you didn't even realize you were in the heydays. Like those were the days until you're out of them, until you look back and go, damn, those were actually the days, you know what I mean? So remember that. Like, I still look back and, all the days when we were living in the dojo and stuff. And that's what we end up talking about. Look what we end up talking about. We could be talking about this big gym and all this different stuff we got, but we end up talking about the times when we were living like, scumbags, like, eating chicken nuggets in the back and everything. And now we have meal prep and coffee shops and rings and fucking all this stuff we're working on, and high level guys and, people training together and starting families and driving Chargers. And, I was going to say smoking bongs for some reason, but we're always doing that, I guess. Competing at high level tournaments, like putting out DVDs on BJ, all this different stuff. You're traveling around, doing everything you wanted to do. You know what I mean? And you're doing it. How could you be mad? So I love you guys. That's Zach's Corner. Peace.